Let's talk a team that one team seems to be heading one direction, the other seems to be going the other way. BYU. Are they falling off a little bit? ASU kind of on the rise. Are these two ships passing in the night, or what are your thoughts on this matchup, big picture, before we dive into it?
Well, if you asked the analytics even last week, they would have said BYU would win by 7 to 10 points, and they had a 70% chance of victory on the road, and that has completely been flipped on its head. While BYU is still favored via the computer, they're not. When you ask ESPN's FPI at 56%, or you ask Vegas, who has Arizona State by 4. Big picture-wise, this is for a Big 12 championship, and if BYU loses, they might be out of that Big 12 championship, and what a disaster that would be for a team that was 9-0, looking forward to playing in Arlington against somebody, anybody, whoever, when they were 12-0, giving the Big 12 a chance at 2 college football playoff teams. Even a BYU loss, they would have gotten in as an at-large. But the second you get loss number 2 in this conference, you're out of the college football playoff picture. And this week, you have an Arizona State team that's playing very good football and a BYU team that 3 out of the last 4 weeks has not been good. They had 2, I don't want to say miracle victories, but close to it against Utah and Oklahoma State, then lost to 3-6, unranked Kansas at night at home. I can't imagine something much worse for BYU this late in the year, but if there is something worse to imagine, it's a loss this week to Arizona State.
Yeah, I want to give Arizona State their flowers in a second, because we did talk about Kenny last week, and obviously they were phenomenal to watch, and their story has been a lot of fun as well. Very unexpected. But is BYU, like, to me, I feel bad even saying this because the BYU fans are so nice, I feel like, but it doesn't feel like, I've never been a big believer in, you had a loss, now that'll wake you up, that'll re-energize you. It felt like BYU is kind of Miami, right? Very different programs, very different teams. But their loss to me isn't like let's re-energize. It's just like their issues are their issues, and their issues finally caught up with them. Or am I reading that wrong? Like, do you think that this may be playing a team that now everybody's doubting BYU? Do you think they can rebound from it?
Yeah, they certainly can. There was a lot of doom and gloom around how BYU lost to Kansas, only scoring 13 points. And the doom and gloom comes from the fact that BYU wasn't, again, their former selves in the weeks prior. This is a compounding issue for the Cougars, where they had a couple of wins that were close, and then they finally lost. Had they been blowing everyone out, had they been in Indiana, per se, let's say Indiana this week loses to Ohio State by 6 points. They've been dominating everybody. That 6-point loss for Indiana, they've still got momentum. For BYU, the way they lost to Kansas, the way they've been playing, momentum is not on their side. But, TJ, the good news for those obviously very nice Cougars fans is if they do win this week, that loss kind of goes away. They win the Big 12 championship. That loss doesn't matter. You have a mulligan. It's a 12-team playoff. You still get a first-round bye.
So Arizona State has been an incredibly fun story in a season of incredibly fun stories in the Big 12, at least for some teams, maybe not the teams we expected this year. But, man, Kenny Dillingham is so much fun, and his team has totally taken on that personality. You don't have to look any further than their quarterback or their running back to see that. What do you like about this matchup from them, and can their offense kind of keep rolling against a BYU offense that has struggled?
Yeah, for Arizona State, I love Cam Scatterbo, obviously, but Sam Levitt has been the big surprise. We kind of knew coming into the year that Scatterbo would be dangerous. For Levitt, there was a huge question mark. The kid was born in 2004, and he's captaining an Arizona State team that wasn't supposed to be very good. They could have gone 3-9, 4-8. None of us really would have batted an eye. And BYU is also in that same category. So 2 teams that have overperformed and 2 quarterbacks that have certainly overperformed. On the Arizona State side, again, for Sam Levitt, approaching 2,000 yards this season, 17 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. Not only has he at times been a game manager, he's been a game changer. Earlier in the year, I would have told you, hey, Sam Levitt does enough to get Arizona State the win, but I think he's developed now into a dangerous quarterback that can go lead you down the field, win a game, if that's what's asked of him this week against BYU. As far as Arizona State grades offensively, efficiency-wise, 15th running the football, 24th throwing the football, top 25 in both categories. The real question is, can they put up with a BYU defense that was great last week? They're 17th against the run, 11th against the pass, efficiency-wise. It's immovable object, unstoppable force when it comes to Arizona State offense, BYU defense. That gets very interesting. And then again, you mentioned BYU's offense has struggled, especially passing efficiency in efficiency categories, and Arizona State's defense is top 25 against the pass and the run. That's pretty good.
I don't know if anything is shocking in college football this year with everything, with everything shocking, nothing shocking is kind of how I feel like this football season has gone. But how surprised were you with, I know they got out to a big lead and they had to just kind of hold on for as long as they could. But how surprised were you with Arizona State to be able to score the way they did early on Kansas State? Yeah,
I thought it was great that they jump out 21-0, and we're all looking around kind of as those of us who considered ourselves the big time college football followers saying, all right, yeah, it's 21-0, but they're at Kansas State. There's an entire second half to play, and Kansas State's really good. Avery Johnson's very dynamic. They're going to make this a ball game. And Kansas State didn't really make it a ball game because of the defense of Arizona State. So while we talk all season long about those big names offensively, Cam Skattebo, of course, is going to be at the forefront of when you're having a conversation about Arizona State. Their defense last week was perfect when it needed to be, forcing 3 turnovers against Kansas State. The offense returns the favor, 36 minutes and 36 seconds of possession time, forcing Kansas State to 23 minutes and 24 seconds on their end. That's a pretty darn big gap right there. That's just cohesion between offense and defense, and a total domination for Arizona State, who was able to turn Kansas State over when it mattered most.
Who is if BYU is going to get this back on the right track and find a way to, I don't want to say salvage, because it's still really a good year. It may fall short of expectations if they can't win their next 2. But who is your X factor for BYU getting this thing turned around against Arizona State this week?
It's going to have to be Jake Retzlaff. It's a cop-out answer to give the quarterback, but it's certainly the case this week because that passing game has gone down and down and down week in and week out under Aaron Roderick. They're 38th in the country in efficiency after prior being in the top 20 throwing the football. Jake Retzlaff has to step up and go win the game himself. We can't make the excuse, well, the OC put us in a bad spot, or we didn't run the football enough, or the offensive line didn't play well. We've seen Retzlaff against Utah and Oklahoma State put the team on his back in final drives. He's got to do it for the entirety of the game. If he does, BYU's in a good spot to win. I'm telling you, TJ, BYU fans will make up 40% of the stadium on Saturday. That's going to be a big boost for Retzlaff and company.
You heard Kenny talking about it, saying, "Hey, we need you to buy. If you're selling a ticket, make them show you a hat, make them show you a shirt.
Yeah.
Make sure it's Arizona State fans." I'm interested to see exactly that, what that crowd looks like, because Kenny realizes it. He realizes what's coming. Do you have a prediction in this one? I know it's a little early in the week, but just thoughts on how this one ends up going down.
Yeah, I think this is a fun one. I'm going to go with BYU, 27-24. This stays lower scoring, but I guess for a BYU State, they take 27 at this point. Give me BYU by far less than a touchdown, by the hair on their chin again. It seems to be the way they love to win football games right now.
I'm going to go the same score the other way, just to make it fun.
That's great.
Kenny was at Florida State, obviously then Oregon, so I feel like that's that shade of garnet and gold that he wears is a little bit of relief from me.
Break of the action to tell you about Skylight Frames. Skylight Frames is the place that you go this holiday season when you can't quite find the right gift for that person who lives so far away this holiday season. You don't know what to get them, and you miss that loved one that's far away, wish they could be close to you. Skylight Frames is here. We have the perfect gift. That Skylight Frame is a touchscreen digital photo frame with your whole family able to love it. Upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. Easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. Seamless sharing. Invite friends and family to easily share their photos via the Skylight mobile app. And add new photos straight from your phone or anywhere, and just bam, they're there across the country. Fastest, easiest way to keep loved ones in the loop. And now, as a special limited time offer for our listeners, get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/college. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/college. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/college. That is Skylight Frame. Visit them today for the perfect holiday gift. Today's show also brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. It's where I'll go this week to say Colorado will beat Kansas by 3 points. They'll win on the road. There's not going to be chaos, hopefully. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5. Get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place bets, live bets even on NFL, all in one place, and college football. Get a hunch in the middle of a game, FanDuel's there for you. Check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. That is FanDuel. Visit them today. Make some money this weekend. College football and the NFL await. That is FanDuel.